Hey there! I thought what I would do today is a quick overview of a nib I bought, and I didn't really want to show you my face, not because I look more hideous than usual, but simply because the focus is really on the nib, and I don't know how much it helps to see my face. So if you don't mind, I'll do everything with the camera tilted down. I don't think this would be an incredibly long video because it's really just the nib that I'm reviewing, but I will show you how it writes, obviously, because otherwise, what's the point, right? This is a very nice pen made by B.R.E Studios. And the reason I'm using this is that it's a number 6 Bock nib, and this pen takes, it turns out I didn't have an awful lot of pens left that take Bock nibs. I have a lot of pens that take Jowo nibs. Anyway, I found this pen on AliExpress, so it came from China, but it is just a Bock nib, and what I liked about it, is the looks, because it is stainless steel, but it is blue. And I'll try to zoom in so you can actually see this. Really, this is all I'm talking about. So it's a stainless steel nib with some sort of blue coating. Very reflective. It's quite the mirror finish, I would say. I mean, I can't exactly see myself in detail, but I can see myself. Very reflective, very nice. Terrible mix for this pen. I mean, urushi is a very classic material. The blue is kind of funky. It's not, but again, it's what I had, so you have to just forgive me. The nib unit, it comes as a unit. I think I paid $23 or $26 Canadian. That included shipping. There are probably easier ways to get that than from China, but I hadn't really seen it anywhere else. That's probably on me. I'm sure they're available elsewhere. But if you are looking for kind of a, in my mind, kind of like a high-tech looking nib, then this might be a fun option. Just number 6 Bock, comes in a nib collar, comes with a feed, so you just screw it into any pen that takes Bock nibs, and you might be able to fiddle a bit with a Jowo nib collar and feed, like fiddle around. You might be able to fit it in there, but I haven't tried that because why would I? Simple nibs, again, I hope you can see some of the detail because it's very shiny and reflective, but it has the Bock logo on it. It says Bock. This is a broad. I find it writes like a medium, so it's certainly not a super wide broad. I don't know how much consistency or inconsistency there is in those nibs because I only have the one, but I thought it was kind of cool. So I inked it up with an ink that has nothing to do with either the pen or the nib. It doesn't match at all, but I just like that ink, so I just used it, and that's pretty much it. So lovely pen too. Yes, it's very big. Yes, it's made by Ranga, I want to say. I think it's the Model 5, but Michal from B.R.E Studios put urushi on it, sent it to me. So very, very nice. But again, that has the pen's been reviewed. The nib has nothing to do with the pen, and frankly, it's a terrible match in my mind for the urushi. But again, it's what I had. So how do I like it? Well, we can talk about it forever, or we can just see how it writes, and then I can discuss some likes and dislikes. Just grabbing some paper. Here we have, just making sure it is primed. Yes, it is. And again, I apologize for the complete non-match of the ink, but here we have the Bock number 6. I forget what unit it is. 380 is the number 8. I forget. Someone please put in the comments. I'd appreciate it. This is in broad. I wasn't quite sure. The material wasn't described online, but I'm sure it's steel. It doesn't feel like titanium, so it must be steel. It's also, given the price, probably just steel. And the ink here, in case you do care, is Edelstein Star Ruby Red, which again is a terrible mix for this nib. You were expecting something blue. I know it, you know it, but here we are. Okay, writing. I'll shut up so you can listen to the nib a bit too. There was a skip. Where was it? Here. I find it slightly on the drier end. I might make it a little bit wetter. That's fairly easy. But of course I wanted to show you how it wrote out of the box. Not that there was a box, it was a bubble wrap envelope, and this just wasn't a bit of bubble wrap. But that's how it writes. You see as you go very fast, there's more skips. I have found Bock nibs to be a little bit drier than Jowo nibs. And someone, when I posted a picture of the nib online, said I found Bock feeds to be wetter than Jowo feeds. It's very interesting. That's not been my experience, but I think it also depends a bit on where you live, what kind of humidity you have in the air, that kind of stuff. In this nib, the slit is very, very tight, and I might just spread that out a little bit to make it a little bit wetter. But certainly, again, I just wanted to show you this out of the box. I mean, it certainly writes. It's not that it's so dry that it can't be used. This is under no pressure, but you see it is drier, especially with the Edelstein Star Ruby Red, which is a fairly wet ink. So this is under no pressure, and as you can see, I mean, for a broad nib, I would call this pretty fine. With some pressure, as the tines open up a little bit, you get a wetter flow. There certainly is some line variation to be had. As always, very careful. It's not advertised as a flex pen. Nobody has called it a flex nib. Nobody's called it a flex nib, but here we are. There we are. I don't know what else I was going to say. Sorry. Seems to be really round in its grind. There's not much difference between downstrokes and upstrokes. Maybe a little bit, but fairly round. Reverse writing. For the friends who enjoy such a thing. Fully possible, and certainly turns it into a nice, I would say, extra fine nib, and it seems to be going pretty well. Even for a drier nib, you can definitely write upside down. Doesn't get as scratchy as some other nibs get. Okay, so as per tradition, the end, again with a bit more pressure, you see it gets wetter. So really it's just a overly tight slit that makes it dry. No comment. What do I like, what do I not like? Again, it's not about the pen, it's about the nib. I like the way it looks, and it's not for everyone, and I know that, but I hadn't seen a blue nib like this. I did own at some point a titanium nib that was gold on an Etruria. That was a very nice nib. And I thought it would be fun. It's just a little different, and I say again, to me this is a terrible match for this pen, also because it's green, the Urushi, it's not blue. I think this would go very well on a pen like, say, a Konid, something that looks kind of high-tech. I think the blue would look very nice. On very classic designs, I'm not sure how great a match it really is, but again, here we are, this is what I had. So, I like it. It is just Bock branded. It's nothing fancy. I don't find it a broad. I would find this a medium, but you know, that's just me. I like the way it writes, albeit a little dry, but that can be fixed. I think it was a good deal. Maybe you can find more cheaply elsewhere, but under 30 Canadian, including shipping, for a nib unit, I think is you know, it's not a massive amount of money to shell out and to have something kind of to play with. So I think it's quite nice. You might want to consider it in case there were such questions. I didn't see any other colors. It's not that you can also get this in red and green, whatever. There was just the blue. Again, I've never seen it. Maybe it's radioactive. Who knows? I'll report back on that or not. I thought it was quite nice. I don't really have anything against it beyond that it's on the drier end of things for sure. But that can be fixed. So there you have it. I hope this was useful just as an overview of maybe an interesting interesting nib, and that's it. So let me know what you think of the blue nib, and that's all I have. I will gladly see you later. Bye.